I'm going to tell you then this tiny little story which comes out of the Gnostic times. Begins in the other world. A boy is being sent down to this world. His mother and father give him gifts of gold, chalices. They send him down with 2 helpers, 2 sort of prime ministers to help him. He is to go down to Egypt. Egypt is the code word for this planet. It's a dark planet. This scene can take a long time or a short time. He goes down to Egypt. Then comes the famous scene in which he goes to an inn. This is his famous inn. It's where the prodigal son stayed. It's in all the Russian novels, this inn. And when you enter this inn, you find people drinking and talking and playing cards, etc. And you forget what you came here for. So your time in the inn can be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. That's called living in the inn. Amazing in connection with the story that we've been telling, but the second phrase for it is sleeping too close to the serpent. What happens in the inn? You sleep too close to the serpent. It's important to realize that when you're sleeping too close to the serpent, we're not strong enough to withstand that. What happens then? This could go on until death, and it does with many men and many women. Word gets back to the other world, and they decide to send a letter to you. And they compose the letter carefully. And now there's a famous scene with the messenger trying to get through to you. Kafka did a story on that. He said there's so many people now around the castle that when they leave the castle to come to you, it takes them 2 or 3 years just to get through the mob of people there. Wonderful, wonderful addition to this story. And if the letter comes to you, then you read it. What is that moment when the letter arrives? And when it arrives, that's the moment at which in some stories you cut off the head of the serpent. In other stories you simply move out of the serpent's reach and begin to go down to Egypt. And when you get truly in Egypt, you find out that the pearl is on the floor of the ocean. After much struggle, the letter helps you. It reminds you that you are of royal birth. Then you go down to the bottom of the ocean, bring the pearl up. That's our task for the next 10 or 15 years. Hafez says, friends, we have turned our face toward the pearl on the ocean floor. So, why should we worry if this wobbly old boat keeps going or not? And the pearl is found in Egypt, it's found in sorrow. And here's 2 lines of Hafez. The Sultan of pre-eternity. Some sultan, a long time before the earth was created, the Sultan of pre-eternity gave us the casket of love's grief as a gift. All that sorrow with women is a gift. The Sultan of pre-eternity gave us the casket of love's grief as a gift. Therefore, we turn our sorrow toward this broken down hunter's cabin that we call the world. In the original Persian, it's one of those places you find in the desert, in an oasis that's long ago been broken down. And you know that other people have been here before you. And the world that we're inheriting is not a new world. It's kind of disintegrated. And that's the truth of it. Toward that broken down oasis building, which we call the world. So, my task is to remind you of that being born with you, waiting now to see if you will make contact.